I'm speaking to
Martin Clark.
Martin Clark. Why are you sitting? He's not that tall, but why are you sitting next to this wonderful, magnificent BBC TV camera at ARU?
I am actually an ex-Marconi guy. I joined as a student apprentice in 1954. At the front end here, when they did the trial run-through of the coronation to get permission, they shot it with the wide-angle 2-inch lens. But on having got permission, on the day of the coronation, they swung the turret round to the big 12-inch lens. And that gave the close-ups, which they weren't supposed to have, but that's history. And it also helped, I think, the coronation started television off big time in this country, let's face it.
And as a journalist, I know the saying, never trust the press or TV.
Well, that is true.
It wasn't pulled then, because it was live.
Yeah, it was live.
Was that sensational for those years? Live? Coronation?
Well, that's all thing. Yeah, I mean, there was no recorder in those days. Well, I tell a lie. There were tele-recordings, which was a camera looking at a monitor. And that is how it got out to Canada. They set up a telerecorder, and as the reels came off, they were taken to the airport, and I think they had 3 runs altogether of Canberras, took them across the Atlantic to Canada.
Sensational. So without that, there wouldn't be a copy of it. So now there's a direct copy of it.
There are direct copies, yes. They recorded on film.
So you've shown us the sharp end. Describe the different lenses here. We've said the wide angle.
Yes, they're different, yes.
And the one that the biggest one is the naughty one.
The naughty one, the 12-inch, is 6 times closer than you would get with the 2-inch one. And then these are in between.
In between these.
In between.
But they went really from the sublime to the ridiculous, didn't they? They didn't go to the other in-betweeners, did they? They went.
Well, they may have done. I don't know.
No.
Yes.
So we've got the proud BBC badge. Let's look at the business end, as it were.
Business end. On the business end, the main bit here is the bit which changed the lenses on the front. So, for instance, if that was a 2-inch lens for the rehearsal on the morning, cameraman would just do that, and that would be the long lens.
And does he look, or she, well, he then I suppose, but look through that?
Yes, you had that.
They're almost in a bomber, aren't they, with a machine gun cowling there.
At the coronation, they had to choose very fit, small cameramen because they were very cramped up in the gods, looking down to where the Queen was being crowned.
So if you were a 6-footer, you didn't sadly get that job.
You didn't qualify. You didn't qualify.
Yeah.
There were 4 of these used at the Abbey, actually.
Inside, do you mean?
Inside the Abbey, yes. There were others outside. I was talking to a BBC cameraman yesterday. I thought that there were only 20 cameras and cameramen. He says 22, so I don't know. But it wasn't that many cameras when you consider that if it was 20, that was covering the Abbey, outside the Abbey, and all the way up to Buckingham Palace.
So why wouldn't they have had more? There weren't that many?
There weren't any cameras. Let's face it, it was only one channel, Channel 1, 405 lines.
And now you can just do everything in an iPhone.
Exactly, yeah.
Tell me about these dials.
Well,
What are they all about, do you know?
they are actually for setting up the camera,
What does setting up mean?
getting the height right, the width right, getting
Of the lenses?
No, this is electronics. This is all electronics.
Okay.
The lenses.
And there was a practice run, wasn't there? Was there?
Yes.
And they left the cameras there after the practice run in place?
Oh,
I
yes.
think?
They were left. Yes.
Right. It's spectacular. It's unique. Is there a Marconi badge on it?
It's got two. Actually, I think it's got three. This has got three, actually, because there's one. No, it needs replacing.
There was one there.
Yeah.
Very similar. Okay, but smaller.
Yeah.
And the BBC's set back on that one. And there it is, a proud badge. How proud are you of standing in front of this and mothering this beautiful beast?
I'm very proud because it's a piece of history, and it was made by the company I used to work for here in Chelmsford.
We usually associate, Marconi with radio.
Right.
So how great is a leap forward for Marconi TV?
It was a big leap forward. We originally we had an agreement with RCA in the United States. RCA used to be the Marconi Company of America, and we had this technical agreement, I think, until probably the mid-60s. And it was CBC who were, RCA, who were working on the pickup tubes for their own cameras and consequently our cameras as well. They went one direction, but they had done work on the image orthicon tube. And Peter Dimmock actually persuaded Marconi's to get one over on an experimental basis. And he actually went to a boxing ring with one of these cameras, and they reduced the light down until there was literally one candle in the ring, and you could still get a picture with it. Because previously, with the previous tubes and previous makes of camera as well, if you did a football match and the light went down, you finished with sound only. Some of the OBs finished just sound only.
Total darkness. And it wasn't until that development
Well,
that you could pick up a single candle.
That's right, exactly. Yes.
So huge leap forwards.
Yes, I mean, and the tubes, pickup tubes, were made by English Electric Valve Company, now Teledyne, in Waterhouse Lane. So there's a big leap forward. There's one other thing with this camera. If you know Sports Personality of the Year award, it was this type camera, Marconi Mark II camera, which is on top of the award.
So it's got the Midas touch.
Oh yes, it is there forever and a day.
So it's the Mark
True.
II that has the honour because it was used.
It was used in OBs.
I think I recognise the lenses on that. They're quite spectacular. It looks like some sort of gun armament.
Yeah, we made 110 of these.
Why only 110?
Because we developed yet another camera. Oh, by the way, this was developed in the labs of Grey Barrow. And there was a studio there in what are now, I think they're still there, the garages outside. One of them was a demonstration studio.
What on earth is that, a hose pipe?
Well, no, it's not a hose pipe, it is a pipe for electronics. It's the one end of the camera cable that's used on this camera. They're quite heavy, and when you think that there were quite a few hundred feet of camera cable rigged in the Abbey and along the route as well.
It looks big enough to go as an undersea cable to America.
Well, probably, yeah. I wouldn't guarantee how watertight it is.
Right. So as well as that being heavy, this was, despite its wheels, this must have been quite a jobby to move around.
Yes, not as big a jobby as our colour cameras, which we did later on, which they landed up, our BD 848 colour camera, they landed up at Alexandra Palace doing experimental colour until colour came about in 1960. Yes, how are you?
This is the thing.
I've got nothing to do with it. The one you saw there was not at the coronation.
Oh, really?
It may have been.
How do you know?
We know
this is definitely.
We know from the seal. Because the guy who owns it. I'm sorry, I can't produce pictures.
The guy who owns it.
Guy who owns it.
He's got a very small head.
Yeah, this was actually found in a skip.
Really?
Yes.
Never.
After all these years, yes. It was a few years ago you found it in a skip. But the story behind it is quite fascinating. They didn't want the coronation televised, and this included Prince Philip. Thought it would be too much strain for the Queen. The Lords and what have you, they didn't want it. Anyway, Peter Dimmock, BBC, he was the BBC producer. And with the help of the British press, they got permission to do a trial run through. So the people, the authorities were saying, oh, you'll need too much light. That was rubbish because they'd given permission to film colours, to film it in colour. So there was more than that. There were to be no close-ups. You could not have a camera closer than 30 frames. Anyway, they arranged this experimental crowding the Queen. If you go around the front, what they did was, they did the whole trial with a 2-inch wide-angle lens and got a tick. Yes, it can go right.
And then they got to the real event.
Then they got to the real event. And guess what? This big lens happened to find its way into the broadcast. So they swung the lens round, and it was shot with this telephoto lens. Now then, there would be no close-ups. So she was crowned. The whole thing was shot with film flash. It was coming closer and closer. And there was a guy, and I've got a recording. His sole job was to cut away to another camera if there are any close-ups. She came down the aisle, closer and closer and closer. Peter Dimmock looked at Ben Shaw, who was the guy who had the centre line. He looked at Peter, and they both said, "It's not a close-up, is it?" The rest is history. It was too late. We had there were
a tiny number of buttons on the back.
Oh yeah, well that's.
So what does this do?
Oh, the beer handle.
Yeah.
The beer handle is the focus.
Okay, so
what
that
it did,
focuses.
yes, well, yes, it's a bit looser. It moved the pickup tube backwards and forwards. These are technical lineups. Once it's been lined up, cameraman doesn't open that.
Okay.
But he has his own viewfinder and he has communication too.
So he's pointing, he's looking down.
Looking down
Can't
there.
see a single thing.
No, you won't, because there will be a
And then,
TV, it's a small TV screen.
and his bulb is going to go flashy, flashy red. I'm on record.
That's right. And
That's excellent.
there were 4 of these inside the Abbey. The 2 guys which were in the gallery looking down, I'm getting the close-up, they had to find the shortest, slimmest couple of cameramen because it was so damn cramped.
That's just amazing. Look at that lead.
Well, yes, I mean, I'll show you the other end of that. Feel the way the camera goes.
I'm
Here you
presuming.
go. Have a grab of that.
Oh my. Look at that.
Yeah.
And that's for getting all your images back to base.
Here we are. Yeah.
Wow.
Controlling various things.
Wow, wow, wow. Found in a skip.
I mean,
So we come and have what you wanted, a posed photo. Where?
well, I'll be at one end and.
Okay. Excellent, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Right, what am I going around?
Are you on the famous Marconi round? I can open it up. Yeah, it's.
Hello, Vicky.
Hello, good to see you. Isn't this just so exciting? Oh, look at that!
Yeah, it needs a lot of work.
Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah, it needs a lot of work. It is going to be restored and made
I
operational.
think you'll be able to make this work.
Well, I know a guy who owns it who will make it work. He's made the next generation.
I remember when I was little, because I'm now so old, we used to have our, must have been our record player having these sorts of huge valves.
Valves.
That is a valve, right?
Yeah, they're all valves, yeah. Hence the English Electric Valve Company. And inside is a tube. I mean, this was made in New Street, but inside the tube was made in Waterhouse Homes. A camera tube. It's called an orthicon.
I'll tell you, Vicky, there's something else. Sports personalities of the year.
Yeah.
A camera on the top is one of those.
Aha, of course.